There is a report from WrestleVotes today stating that there is no plan for Elias, or at least there was no plan for Elias, once the whole graveyard business was over. Now, to be blunt, this isn't strictly true, as WrestleVotes themselves disputed in the same tweet. There was a plan for Elias. It just wasn't a very good one. Elias's journey in the WWE has been quite an incredible one that really stands out, but mostly for the wrong reasons, unfortunately. He's always been heavily pushed, and he's always had incredible crowd reactions for some of the most basic heel work you'll ever know. What he hasn't had is much wrestling time, or in fact many wins. His most recent run with Jackson Riker was doomed from the start, and I mean very comfortably doomed. Elias has always been a favourite of Vince McMahon, there's an exclusive for you, and a real pet project for the creative team. They wanted to do something very, very different with Elias, and it's been very, very visible his entire time on the main roster. They wanted to use Elias to prove that wins and losses genuinely don't matter. That's been successful to a degree. The plan with Elias was to pair him up with recognisable names and get him over using their star power rather than using any particular skill set of his. That's why he would only play the guitar for brief amounts of time. He would work with Trish Stratus, The Undertaker, John Cena. He worked early on in his career with Edge when Edge was teasing his return. Elias was a guy who got rubbed. He worked with Jeff Jarrett and the Road Dogg. Elias was a guy who got over by being rubbed. He would play music, get cheap heat, and then get beaten up by a bigger name. This basically sums up his entire career in the WWE, and I mean start to finish. Pardon me. The WWE believed that they could build Elias into a bona fide rock star, capable of transitioning into rock concerts and bringing back the old rock and wrestling feel that the WWF was built on after our current Vince McMahon took over. In this, unfortunately, he did not succeed. He did not bring in the music fans. He did not sell many albums. He did sell quite a lot of merch, but ultimately he did not shift tickets to the small concerts that were planned in New Orleans. The plan was to have people turn up for those concerts and then literally walk with Elias straight down to WrestleMania. In the end, this did not happen. Despite having some of the greatest charisma of anyone in the company, I genuinely believe we could be looking at the next Rock with Elias if he was used right. People weren't willing to invest in the guy. This has led to a slow removal of investment from WWE management, and this is quite the shame. I was the first one to report when the D-push began for Elias, when he was being paired with Shane McMahon, The Revival and Drew McIntyre, in probably Drew's quietest period as well. Elias could have been something big, but over time, his routine became stale and repetitive. The big names became less and less interested in working with him. Now, Elias has not been released, and that's the case for a reason. Considering the amount of time that he's been with the company, he's never commanded that high a wage, and certain names at the highest level believe that he could still generate a strong income from merch and album sales. The WWE want to do something with this guy. They just have absolutely no idea what that thing will be. This is made all the worse when you consider that Rick Boogs has successfully taken his gimmick and ran with it. The future's not bright for Elias, but the WWE do have faith that they will be able to make something of the man. That's the main reason he's still with the company, and that's the main reason there's a lot of pitches, but as you've heard many times on the Tom Colohue channels, a lot of bad pitches rather than anything interesting.